Welcome to the Science of Golf Performance. My name's Chris.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Bobby.
And today we're going to be talking about overspeed training and how much of it do we actually need to do and should you be doing it? So,
great questions, Chris.
I mean, I feel like let's start there. Maybe let's start, why do we even care? Like why are we looking, why do we care about how much you do or if you should do it? I don't know.
I think it's starting with your amateur golfer, right? They think speed, that's what I want. Overspeed training should help me get there because it's going to teach me to swing faster, and I should do it all the time because that's how I'm going to get there, right? That's usually what we...
And the testimonials we see on social, like so-and-so picked up, look at this guy, picked up 10 miles an hour immediately. Like first session, you're going to pick up 15 yards, like whatever it may be, right? So, I mean, it's sexy. I mean, it's hard to dispute that.
It looks good, that's for sure. So let's give a little bit of an introduction for those who might not be familiar for what exactly overspeed training is, right? Some people might be watching this going, I have no idea what you're talking about. I just want to increase my club head speed, right? So I can hit absolute tank shots out on the golf course. So a little bit of a background, right? So overspeed training is actually pretty popular in track and field. And there's a lot of research being done in baseball, right? So throwing sports.
Also in cricket.
Yes, another throwing sport. There you go. Some research has certainly been done.
Team handball, actually.
Okay, another
I've
throwing
read all
sport.
the research. So.
There we go.
So, if anyone was wondering, if you're a handball player watching this, there's research on it.
There you go. But there's a little bit of research being done on golf, right? We're certainly part of that. We've done a couple of studies on it. But the idea behind it, right, is, you as a human can move so fast, right? And there's some tools that you can use to kind of take what we say the governor, right, off of your nervous system, right, your brain, your nerves all throughout your body to help you move even faster, right? So say you've been working hard, you've kind of hit a brick wall in terms of speed, you want to take that next step, hey, let's try something over speed. So track and field, right? Maybe they have someone run like someone's holding them back, right? And then all of a sudden I let go of that, and that person shoots out even faster than they were.
They also have the one where you're connected to the person in front of you and they're running and it actually pulls you faster. So you're running behind them. And then they have the decline slope as well. That helps you accelerate a little bit more. Those are the two I'm familiar with.
Right. And then baseball has like different weighted baseballs that you can throw, right? If I throw, an 8-ounce baseball and then I go to a 3-ounce baseball and then I go to the standard 5-ounce, is that going to increase how fast I can throw that ball? So
well, I think it's important to, even with all this research, there's no conclusion, conclusive, what works. Like you talked about the decline. There's so much difference of opinions in what grade percentage is actually ideal. Same thing with some studies in baseball say it works miraculously. Other people say it didn't really change anything.
Right, right.
So it's early on in the stages of the research in there. And so, I guess that's kind of the landscape of where it's at is, does it work? Yeah. Overspeed when implemented with the right person at the right time, it can be absolutely magical.
Right.
I've had a guy who was the right situation. All mobility was great. We'll get into all these specifics. Power was 95th, 99th percentile. Club head speed was 102 when we started. In 15 minutes, he was swinging 120. People are probably going to call BS on that, but that's in the right situation, it can be absolutely magical. 10 weeks later, he's swinging 125 consistently.
Right.
This guy was 6'7", former Division I basketball player with a 40-inch vertical. Right. He shouldn't be swinging 102, and he's 33 years old. He shouldn't be swinging 102 when he starts. Right. With no issues, but giving him the specific nervous system technique to transfer that to the golf swing, it changed this guy's life. Just hitting bombs.
Well, I was going to say we even have a call from him after he hit one. He was like, I
still have that message saved.
He was like, I couldn't even believe how far I hit this. This was incredible. That was awesome. But again, what we want to do,
that is the one in the thousands.
Right.
But that is what I think everybody sees on the social media feeds, on the advertisements. There's so many speed companies out there now.
Right.
The speed is sexy, and golfers are. You are probably watching this, are a golfer. You will pay money for speed.
Right.
So I think we just got to be careful. And our goal of this episode is to really kind of help you understand the truth of the science behind a lot of it.
Right. So. And who is it going to be successful for? why that's the case, right? And then who it's not going to be successful for, and what pitfalls or issues could you run into if you're the wrong person trying to use this technique. What kind of issues have we seen, right? Happens when it kind of gets into the wrong hands, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
So we look at the person off the bat. We're not looking to give them overspeed right away. We're looking at what can they do right now. What is their body capable of producing right now in terms of force and speed already.
And I think this is like before you go buy any training aid, like go to our website. Caleb can put a link in here. It's a free home assessment. It's going to assess all your rotary centers, and it's going to give you the 3 power tests that have the highest correlation in club head speed.
Yeah. Take
those tests, and then you're going to fall into one of 3 categories. Either you're going to be a ticking time bomb, which is going to be about 75% of you watching this. The other about 20% will be a balanced golfer. So if you're in the ticking time bomb category, overspeed training is not for you. It's probably going to hurt you. I've had calls with, at this point, probably close to 75, almost 100 people, or emails. I've heard of 2 people dislocating their shoulder. One guy blew a disc, can't play golf anymore.
Knees,
the list goes on. Yeah, knees,
hips,
elbow issues, low backs, right? These are people who do not have the ability to fully rotate, and they're going to go as hard as they can. They are taking a Porsche and driving it into a freaking wall over and over again, and then surprised when they get hurt. So that's 75% of you watching this. That is you. So you need to. I'm very passionate about this. If you can tell, you need to take that test and see if you fail any of those. And our research is showing. Was it how many people over 50? What's the percentage? 70.
It's at least 65% plus are failing multiple of those tests. 85+% are failing one of the rotation tests.
If you're over 50, so if you're 50 or over, you're probably going to fail one of those. So. And that's mostly the group that is looking to gain a lot of speed because you're starting to lose it. From when you were in your 30s or when you were younger. And so I got really excited there. So so if you fail that test, you are a ticking time bomb. I don't care what any of your power numbers say. You need to fix your mobility before you even think about overspeed training.
And ticking time bomb, for the record, would mean?
Yes. So which means it means you may not actually have pain right now. And so I think that's why we call it ticking. You could be someone who does have actual issues, in which case, but what a ticking time bomb is you fail any of the rotary centers and so regardless of what your power numbers are, if you fail any, you are a ticking time bomb. Let's say you pass all, you have great mobility, all those rotary centers are fantastic. When you get to the power part of that assessment, if you, let's say, so we have data on over 1,200 golfers now. We've got it broken down basically by decade.
Pretty much
50
by
to
decade,
59, 60 to 69.
Yeah.
So you can see what percentile are you in terms of where your club speed is. So let's say you're 50th percentile in how fast you're swinging the golf club.
Yep.
But then we look at your power numbers, and your power numbers say you're in the 5th percentile. Okay. You're swinging way up here.
Right.
Your speed's up here. Your power's down here. This is most low handicap golfers over the age of 50.
Yes.
You're using technique and equipment. They're efficient? You're able to get your speeds faster than physically what you're actually able to handle. Where longevity is an issue. So if that is you are a ticking time bomb. Do not do overspeed training. Don't buy speed training aids. There are other things that need to be addressed, like strengthening. If mobility was an issue, we need to get you to where you actually athletically can produce that power and support that speed that you're creating.
Right. And it can even be like the one thing that you're really lacking. The overspeed training is just going to be the thing that crushes your gains right there. Like you could have like no thoracic mobility, but you're really strong. You have a good amount of power, but you're very low on the mobility scale for that one center. You still shouldn't do it because you're still putting yourself at that risk for getting injured.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a great case of, you go like, how the heck are all these guys hitting it past me? I'm so much stronger than them. And then we look at your mobility is garbage. Well, that's what's holding you back.
Right.
Fix the mobility, and then all of a sudden, magically, maybe you didn't even need overspeed training. You just needed to get mobile, and boom, there's 5-10 miles an hour we've seen in some cases. So.
Yeah, and a little bit more degree of shoulder rotation, right? That helps you get deeper into your backswing. That helps you keep the club in a better position. That's going to help you swing better right there without doing, hours and hours of more swinging than you're probably already doing, right?
So, and that's, I think, so if you fail any of the mobility tests, I'm beating a dead horse here, don't do overspeed training. If you pass, we're going to assume for the rest of this conversation, you watching this video, you passed all your mobility. If your speed is higher than your power, that's an injury gap. That exists. You do overspeed training and get your speed up, you just made your injury gap bigger. Good job. Congratulations. You're probably going to get hurt. Don't do that, okay? No one selling like overspeed training tools, no, they're not going to tell you that. That's the truth. That's what we see. We track, if you haven't seen other episodes, he's a nerd, so am I. We track everything. And so all of the injuries that we see, and I shouldn't say all, that would be inaccurate. Most of the injuries that we see from overspeed training happen in these environmental conditions. Right. Now, if on the other side, your power numbers are up here, like Tom, who I was talking about earlier, and your speed numbers are down here, it's probably something is not transferring on the golf side of things. And that's where overspeed training can be absolutely like, a magic pill to a degree. Like it's like the golden chalice for you.
Right.
But it has to be at the right, it has to be in that position. That's literally like 5% of you watching this video.
Yeah, and I think going not too deep, but a little more into it too, it's like minimal effective dosage, right? You don't want to be like, if you are that person, all right, you're going to go start using the speed stick and swing it, like I'm going to swing it 200 times a day, like just go crush that. You need more speed, like that's it, right? So
wait, there's type A golfers who will do more than what you recommend?
Oh boy.
So the next part of it would be going into, how much should I be swinging at? I can utilize overspeed training because it would be beneficial to me according to where I fall on data scale and everything. So should I just go start doing all this overspeed training?
Well, so that's what we really looked at, right, is we wanted to do a comparison study to see, right, what was that minimum effective dose, right? Because not all of us have, 10 hours a day to go swing a golf club, right?
Well, I think when you look at the other research too, you look at a sprinter, like a full entire day sprint workout might be 10, like all out, if that.
Right, it might be 5
Right, and you're going to
sprints.
and you're resting you do a 10-second 100 meter, you're resting for minutes.
Right.
And so
actual
correct. Right. So in what instance? So if that's how the elite of elite train in that sport, their energy systems are the same as golfers. Like basically that was our question, right? Like why are we swinging hundreds of times? Is that appropriate?
On top of any range work or any course work that you're doing already, do we want to add even more to that? Right. One, is that even going to be effective? But two, what's the littlest amount we can add that will be effective? Right. So we have kind of the full research report of everything that we looked at in our 2 6-week, 8-week studies, right? That's definitely on our website. Chris has also compiled basically all of the overspeed research that's out there already if you want more information on what we've talked about today, right? But just kind of big bullet points, right? So we looked at,
I think the key is that's actual randomized research, research trial. We're not including case studies. That is not research. We're not including so there's a big difference. I just want to make sure that people, I think out in the world, there's case studies that and people are using that to back cases. That is not research. That's an N of 1. That's terrible. Don't use that.
Right. So back on bullet points, right? So we wanted to look at, we've got these different, weighted sticks, right? We've got the full kind of 3-stick system, which is very popular, right? You might have different weighted ropes. You might have different weighted band sticks. Like I've seen sticks with parachutes on them, right? So the idea is they're all creating different resistances, right? And we wanted to see, hey, this is sport-specific training, we hope, right? We were trying to get you to swing faster by swinging faster. So what weight or what resistance is going to be the most beneficial for each golfer, right? And honestly, what we found is the closer you get to the actual task, the better results you get, which, in theory and, hypothesize makes a lot of sense, right? So, you can go look at exactly, how many people we tested over what time frame, things like that you can look at. But that was really kind of the big bullet point of what we found is, get something that is very similar to the club you're already swinging. Just do it with maximal intent with some smart rest breaks, and you're going to see improvement because we know this overspeed works. This is just, maybe a more efficient way to get it done.
But I think the cool findings from those studies, and both of them, was that we studied a 3-stick system and we studied a singular stick. So the singular stick was the middle stick of those two, which is about 6 to 10% lighter than an average driver, depending on how heavy your driver is.
Right.
And basically what we found is statistically there was no difference in gains across both of those studies. And across both studies there was, I think, 39 golfers total that finished both randomized trials. Everything was controlled. Like Spivey said, you can read the research for yourself. If you're a research guru and you want to pick it apart, please do. That's how we're getting better. And we, by no means are these studies the end all be all. These are very initial studies. So, but I think that's the key point, is that we found that one was not better than the other in terms of your gains are going to be statistically the same.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the key. You can use either one. You can go high volume. You can go low volume. So ours was 30 swings, 10 at a time with a 2-minute rest break, 2 to 3 minute rest break in between. So 5 left, 5 right. So total. So I guess, I don't know. What am I saying here? I'm going off the tangent. Basically, you can do 66% less work, and you could statistically gain the same amount from a result standpoint.
And then you have more energy and to go crush a workout or go play. And
instead of just swinging for hours on end.
Well, I think one of the coolest ones that we did was I was at a demo at a local club, and I had two people get up because someone was calling BS on me. I said, okay, get up here. I said, so I got the two guys up. I gave the one guy, we tested him in the beginning, I gave him the 3 sticks. And I gave the other guy the 1 stick. And I said, all right, you're going to do this protocol, you're going to do this protocol. So the one guy did 100, the 100, and then the other guy did ours. And so the guy did his 10, and then I'm like, all right, rest. It's my watch on. He's sitting there for like 2-3 minutes. He's like awkwardly uncomfortable. The other guy's like out of breath. He's going. So the guy finished. So they both finished. So the guy who rested like 2 minutes at a time, he ends up finishing first.
Right.
So we're waiting for the other guy to finish. All right, take 2 minutes, catch your breath, get a drink of water. They came back and retested, and they both went up the exact same amount. It was pretty cool. Like, you couldn't have planned it. They both went up, I think it was 3 or 4 miles an hour, relative to where they had started. Yeah. And then I looked at both the guys. I said, so which guy would you rather be? The people in the audience were like, the guy not dying.
And then if you're using this in because when you prescribe this, maybe you do it before a workout for a little like neural stimulus before you go do your strength work or something like that for your workout. You're putting yourself at less risk for injury and ruining your strength workout because you've done the minimal effective dose, and your nervous system's ready to fire, ready to go, and you haven't tanked and you're not dying. So I think it's prescribing it, and it would be better at the beginning of workout with a minimal effective dose.
Yeah, well, that's the goal at the beginning of workout. That's where you do all your power work, is the beginning of the workout. You don't want to do cardio before you go try to do your strength workout. That's not going to benefit you. So I think that's the other way where it becomes very integratable into your actual strength and conditioning program, where you can actually you can do it all in one hit, which makes it actually long-term, it's sustainable.
Yeah.
That's a big key.
So I know we talked a ton about everything on here, right?
I think it's important that we do talk about this, because this is stuff that I think is a very hot topic. And I think it needs to be made really, really clear that overspeed training is not for everybody. There is a very select few golfers where it's appropriate. And when it is appropriate, it can be absolutely awesome. We're huge fans of it. Yep. There's no difference statistically between what protocol you want to do. The most important thing to take away from this is that you can get the same results doing less, but most importantly, 80% of you, 80% of you watching this should not be doing overspeed training right now. You should be working on mobility or working on getting your strength levels up enough where you can actually support where overspeed training would be helpful for you. I can't, as physical therapists, people who see, people call me from around the country and kind of, hey, what should I do in this situation? Because of the platform that we do have, people are getting hurt because you're doing this when you shouldn't be. So please go take the free assessment. It's totally free, no strings attached. Just please take the assessment. If you shouldn't be doing this, please don't do it. If you should, definitely by all means go ahead and do it, which it's going to be awesome for you. But if you have any questions, by all means let us know. And hopefully you found this helpful. If you have friends who are curious about picking up speed, share this with them. Because hopefully this is educational and this is be helpful for them.
Yep.
So awesome. We'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks so much.